the psychology of people who don't post on social media. In a world that's obsessed with showing off, the most grounded people are the ones who don't. They don't post selfies on social media. They don't chase people looking for validation. They use the gift of content differently. We live in a world where everyone wants to share and focus only on the highlights, only on what went right. But what ends up happening out of that, and especially with AI, is that things seem to be fake. And yet, despite all of that bullshit out there are certain people who stay real. There's something about their energy that feels so authentic. You might even know someone like that, or you might be someone like that. It's easy to assume that these people are shy, or they're introverts, or insecure, whatever, but there's something much deeper than that. Beneath this surface, there's an entire psychology at play. Matter of fact, the people who show off on social media seem to be the most confident, but that's not real confidence. That's pride. I used to be one of them. As you might see with the background, I still have a little bit of a taste of it. But that's when I learned, and I'm still working on it, about the importance of humility. That true confidence, the unshakable type of confidence that we all want, is actually humility. And this is how very often the people who are the most low-key are the ones who have the highest quality of life. Now, I'm not talking about the internet trolls or the haters in the comment sections. Fuck them. I'm talking about the people who understood that in an era where everything seems to be fiction, over-exaggerated, filtered, faked, being human with all of its flaws. And so today, what I'm gonna share with you are the 5 best ways to use social media and content to increase the quality of our lives instead of losing ourselves in the dangerous world of the internet. Rule number 1. Educate, don't entertain. There's enough entertainment out there, and one might argue that education must also be a form of entertainment to get the people hooked. I agree, storytelling is important. As long as your storytelling is rooted in some form of wisdom, some form of experience, some form of lesson you want to share. Education is the greatest legacy. Education is how we solve the biggest problems of the world and how we let the future generations not do the same dumbass mistakes we did in this one. This is the foundation rule. If you're out there to entertain people for the sake of distracting them, this is not a video for you. So on that foundation, the point number 2 is document, don't preach. Share what has worked for you, not what you believe people should do. For example, right now, if I was to give you the 5 steps without ever sharing some personal stories, that's where it's preaching instead of documenting. And you'll see how in the next points, I'm gonna put more and more personal stories, but for now, one thing I can share is there is a imposter syndrome effect that happens when you're out there preaching. You learn something in a book and now you're talking to people, teaching it as if you're an expert. This is very fragile. It's a fragile way to teach because what happens is very often, and this is almost a general rule, if you feel like an imposter, it's because you are. Let me give an example. I was at this event, right? And before the event, it was a networking event, you know, with big speakers. And I was focused on, okay, how am I going to present myself? If people ask me, what do you do? What story am I going to share? How am I going to frame myself to get as many deals as possible? So the day starts and there I go. Someone asks me, oh, I'm a customer success coach. And I use all these words. And it took me like an hour and a half, 2 hours to feel so fucking drained, so overwhelmed, I had to go outside, right? Had to take a big walk and be like, what the fuck is going on? I feel like such an imposter. I don't fuck with that. And that's when, by the grace of God, I just had a little download. I was like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm just going to go back there. Whatever comes out when someone asks me, that's what I'm gonna say. So people started asking me, Danny, what do you do? I said, I'm a speaker. They said, oh shit, what do you speak about? I said, well, actually, I help people speak better. I help people with communication, charisma in front of the camera, in front of people. And then all of a sudden, I felt good about that. I felt confident about that statement. And people started resonating with it. And guess what? I ended up closing deals out of it much easier than if I was to fake a whole story about what is it that I actually do. Now, these days, I actually do much more than that. I do hypnosis, I do leadership, I actually speak for other coaches and creators and educators in front of their students. I do all of that. But this was a foundation. Me being honest, authentic about what feels real was a foundation that really took my business to the next level. Rule number 3, create community instead of clout. This was a lesson I really learned when I got to create the #1 Skool community in my niche, which used to be addiction recovery. So what happened is when the community was at its peak, it was a No Nut November because I was coaching people about PMO. And in that moment, I mean, the community was buzzing. We were #1 in Skool. Everything was going so good. And then what happened is eventually I decided to switch niches, believing that the community by itself would, thrive. But there was one problem. And that was that I created a culture in which I was the man. I was the star. I was the leader. And so what happened is as soon as I changed niches, the community literally died. And then I went on a season where I was studying other communities, other leaders, and that's where I got into leadership and all that stuff. And one common pattern I had noticed from all the most successful communities on Skool is the pattern of the guru turning into a community, meaning the person creating celebrities within the community, creating a culture in which the leader can remove himself from the thing and the thing will still thrive. I believe you can do the same with YouTube. So creating this sort of unique culture and connecting people together in the comment sections, encouraging people to create this community even when you stop posting, let's say, for a few weeks. Number 4, mission over niche. You hear all these different gurus out there talking about how you got to pick your niche and then create your videos for a specific avatar. I don't believe in that bullshit. I believe this is a very fragile way of building a business. What I would rather do and what I found is much more fulfilling, but also that works much better, is to frame your content around a mission. So to create a sort of mission statement that is timeless, meaning even if you end up changing avatars or changing interests, very often your mission will stay the same. Like if your mission is to help people find God ultimately, that's not gonna change over the next 5 to 10 years. So this creates a much easier way to create content, much more freedom, which is the reason you began in the first place, creative expression, and it's anti-fragile. Last but not least, rule number 5, presence over performance. So as you guys could see through the evolution of that video, my energy shifted a little bit. My smile shifted, the way I express myself shifted. And one of the main reasons behind that is that actually there are a few people that joined the environment here where I filmed that. And they're currently looking at me. I'm not sure if they speak English or not, but that's not the point. The point is I had to really find this joy inside of me that is playful, that doesn't really give a fuck. And it's a beautiful example of how if I approach all my videos with this energy, where it's pure improvisation, like this, what I'm saying in the past, 5 minutes now, is like there's no script. I have 5 bullet points and I'm all just yapping out of it. And so when you approach your content with this energy, first of all, you guys can probably feel it for the ones that watched it so far. And it's much more magnetic, it's much more charismatic, but also it's much easier to do. It's, again, freedom, creative expression. So you'll do it more often. And whatever gets you to create content more often, do that, because consistency really is the key. By the way, also the sun literally moved as I'm recording this. And so I hope you guys still see something and it's not completely cooked. But these were the 5 best ways. I appreciate you guys. I will be posting here daily for the next years, applying these principles. So feel free to follow me in that challenge and drop your YouTube channel in the comment section. Would love to support you guys, and you guys can support each other also between you. Let's create this community. Community is the new economy. So much love, guys. I'll see you here soon. Peace.